Use of an Xbox 360 controller is strongly recommended. Try other controllers at your own risk. Oh no, I'm using a DS4 controller. What have I done? So, welcome to 20XX. As you can probably tell from that introduction, as well as the overall visual and musical aesthetic going on, this is a very Mega Man inspired game. To wit, it is basically a Mega Man roguelite, and a very good one at that. I picked up this game when it was in early access a while ago and played it for a few hours and was quite impressed. So impressed that I decided to put it down so that I wouldn't get burned out, and come back to it once it had its 1.0 release, which has now happened. I'm actually a few days late, such that there have actually been a few mini patches fixing some minor errors. So with a completely fresh file, and not that I got far in the first place, let's start 20XX. And much like when it was in early access, the first stage you do is a tutorial stage, giving you the basics of the controls. I'm just kind of shortcutting things a bit by making use of the dash. If you were to compare this to any Mega Man game or sub-series really specifically, it would be Mega Man X, but with the fact that you have a dash boosted jump, and the wall jump. Honestly, if you're gonna shamelessly copy any Mega Man, it's probably best to do so with X. I love the classic games, and my favorite sub-series would probably be the Battle Network one, but as far as overall quality game design goes, Mega Man X is probably the best, especially for a roguelite sort of game. You just have so much control over your movement, none of the stiffness that the classic games have. Oop, whoops, I rushed forward a little bit there. I don't think I actually have health during this tutorial, so I don't have to worry too much about that. I can make as many mistakes as I wish. Not true once I actually get into the game proper, but I'll use this time to acclimate. There are treasure chests hidden about, filled with all sorts of goodies. This one boosts my basic buster damage. Always worth picking up something like that. And of course, after getting through the stage, you have this classic Mega Man boss transition. 2 doors, a hallway, and then the boss. L, friendly training bot. I believe he is weak to the saw blade here, yep. Thus teaching you the mechanic of bosses being weak to certain weapons. And part of the strategy of the game being learning those as you go along so you can more effectively take out the bosses. And I do like that they explicitly indicate that the boss was weak by showing a damage number with an exclamation mark. That way you don't have to think, wait, did that do more damage than normal? It just straight up tells you to. Clarity is good in a roguelike. So now that we're past the tutorial, we have reached the hub. So you get some general information, stat stuff here. Curious what the leaderboards are about. Speedrun Nutmaster collecting the currency. That is a great name. And some other stuff it looks like, yeah, dailies. Here you have all sorts of challenges, dailies, weeklies, rush job, seed racer. Both of these sound very dirty, by the way. Down here you have character select, so by default you play as Nina the Mega Man-like, but you can switch over to Ace the Zero-like. They've actually changed his design quite a bit. In the early access version he was pretty much just a carbon copy of Zero, It's nice that they've differentiated him a little. Especially since in terms of gameplay, he is literally just Zero, you know, sword and board. Or just sword. As opposed to Nina's Buster style. I'm gonna play as Nina for now. I like the good old classic Buster shots. And down here we have permanent upgrade stuff, which we can't do anything with just yet. You actually have to do a run to pick up this currency. So we'll see that a bit later. Let's just start a normal run. There are 3 difficulty modes. Normal, baby, and hardcore. I'm gonna stick with normal for now while I'm still learning the game. Seems like a good idea. Roguelikes tend to be pretty tough, especially when you're not familiar with them, with all the necessary foreknowledge. Alright, so here we are in our first stage. As you'd expect of a roguelike, it is randomly generated. I believe that the bosses and the stages are paired though, so you always end up having a certain boss for each stage, but don't quote me on that. I don't know if that's 100% accurate. Figures of course that my luck would be such that I would end up getting an ice physics stage for my first level. You win some, you lose some. I usually lose some. I'm used to it at this point. So part of the procedural generation of course is that you end up having some kind of funky level design. But given the sheer amount of movement that you're capable of, it works out pretty well. Not always, as in that case there where I had pretty much no choice but to lose those nuts. Oh well, it's fine. Currency is pretty common, at least it was in the early access version. So I shouldn't have any trouble collecting that to purchase all the upgrades I need. I should try and play a little bit more carefully though, avoiding environmental damage and damage to pits while I can. Because, while it looks like you can take plenty of hits, health isn't always going to be super common. And you can end up in dangerous situations where you have no easy way of restoring your health. You just don't have the luck to actually pick up the health pips. And that's what causes a run to end, and I'd like to avoid that. I'd like for my first run here in this full release version to be a winning run, although knowing me that's probably not going to be the case, and I just wasted that health pip. And thus the currency I used to purchase it as well. Ah well. Alright, so here we have our first glory zone. No holes here, only glory. So it's basically random challenges, this one being a speed challenge. Another challenge type that was in the early access version that I'm sure I'll see at some point was taking no damage. Okay, I might have screwed this one up by not going fast enough, it depends. If I can make use of the charge shot, perfect. 1 second, and 89 milliseconds remaining. Oh wait, no, 890. And I picked up a core upgrade, immunity to knockback, that is fantastic. Core upgrades I remember being the best type of upgrade, because they're just purely beneficial. Well, actually, there's not much, at least in the early access version, that had negative effects. But I mean purely beneficial in that they are the most significantly beneficial, I guess would be a more accurate way of putting it. They're major upgrades, immunity to knockback, double jump, dash upgrades, that sort of thing, as opposed to extra powers or passive level ups. Ooh, alternate shot. I think it's a bit weaker, but I like the spread. Now let's see if I can actually get out of here without taking damage. Well, failed with that. Okay, so when the spikes are in the wall, they don't actually hurt me. I didn't realize that. Had I realized that, I would have had a much easier time going through here in the first place. As it is, I now only have 2 health pips beholden to me, which isn't exactly the best situation. Especially since I'm likely to hop onto the boss soon enough. Hopefully I'll be able to do things though. Oh, I think this enemy is just kind of immune to damage, yeah. It only takes 1 from everything. So rapid fire is the best in that case. I'm not gonna go after that soul currency. You may have noticed the timer down there at the bottom. It would be best to try and beat the stage and the boss before that elapses, although I might have wasted too much time already, I'm not sure. Yeah, with only half a minute remaining, I don't think I'm gonna have enough. I'm just gonna waste all of my currency on health pips so I can actually beat the boss at least. Perhaps if I had a power that this dude was weak to, I could do it, but yeah, I just don't have enough time at this point. So one thing about the bosses in this game is that they have mercy invincibility. So oftentimes spamming your regular buster is actually less damage efficient than using the charge shot. I think it depends on the speed of your charge shot. At the moment I think I am better by just spamming, but even with that I still don't have enough damage output to beat him before the timer goes down. So we'll have to see exactly what that does later. Let's see if I can at least get through him without losing any more health. That way I'm in a better position for the stage ahead. Doesn't seem like too tough of a boss. One nice detail that you may have noticed me doing is that you can actually make use of the fact that the dash has you duck to end up dodging through attacks or bullet patterns. Very useful here. Alright, and I beat my first boss. Not swiftly enough, but it is what it is. And I get a bit of a reward for beating him. Speed upgrade, Ninja Sash. Oh yeah, got that Naruto speed. And then for beating the boss, you can either acquire its special ability as a power, or get some sort of passive upgrade like nuts or boosted health. Let's go with the passive power not passive power, the active ability, since that's actually interesting. So this is a shield that gets rid of bullets. That should come in handy against any more bullet heli bosses. And one nice thing is that they don't actually have you consume your energy when you're in this area, so you can test out the weapon to your heart's content. And yeah, these are the scientist fellows. The Dr. Light equivalent and the Dr. Wiry equivalent. The fact that they're standing together is probably not a good sign, but I'll ignore it for now. And this lets you quit in the middle of a run. I guess you can't do that at any other time, at least not without losing progress. So, do I go after Shatterbeak, Eternal Star, or Astral Twins? I want to say that Eternal Star was a fairly bullet patterny boss from what I remember of playing the early access version, in which case this power would be quite useful, so let's go with that. Apologies if I end up referring to the powers as powers, subweapons, or other terms. I just refer to them with whatever is on my mind at the time, and it may not always be accurate. But if you've watched my content before, you're probably used to that. Consistency is not my strongest suit. I'm not sure why these platforms are glowing. It doesn't seem to be doing anything. Maybe it's just for visual flair. I will try and conserve my power use as I want to have plenty available when I actually get to the boss. But if I don't use it at all, then I'll just be wasting any random energy pickups I'll get in the stage. So it's a fine line of conservation. I don't think there are any energy tanks you can pick up to heal your energy mid-mission. This isn't that kind of Mega Man game. Okay, well I kinda screwed up that bit of platforming. Probably not gonna make the time bonus for this stage then either, not unless I just abandon this. And since I've already taken damage, I would like to see this through to its completion. These tougher platforming bits are generally optional challenges. For completing them, you'll end up picking up upgrades, but you don't need to do them, so if you'd rather focus on speed, you can just ignore them. Let's see what I got. Ooh, maximum health upgrade. And it does give you an active health pip as well, it doesn't just give you an empty extra pip. So it's very useful to pick up, and there it goes. I could probably just drop down and be fairly safe, but that's not guaranteed, so I'm going back through the safe and slow way. I'm already convinced I'm not going to make the time bonus anyway, so I'm not too worried. Perhaps though I'll be able to make it, you never know. Alright, so we have another speed challenge. My shield should help, as long as I can get the enemies grouped up together, I can take them out pretty gosh darn quickly. Case in point. Unless they have a shield, of course. Alright, that went pretty well. Wasted a bit too much health and energy, but it is what it is. Oh, that's useful. I think I'd rather have that than the immunity to knockback. A shield while dashing. So that way if I end up facing a rather tricky bullet pattern, I can just dash through it and I'll be perfectly fine. how long does the shield stay up? Does it continue while I'm in the air doing a dash jump? Oh, it does. That is especially useful then. Nice. Alright, so this jerk over here, you may notice that he's a slightly bigger, slightly tougher version of that regular enemy I've been fighting. That's the Elite variant. If you've played any roguelite slash roguelite games, you know, in the style of Binding of Isaac, you're probably familiar with that concept. A slightly beefier version of a regular enemy, maybe with some extra gimmick, that usually gives good rewards if you beat it, or at least has the chance to. In that case, that's your primary method of getting soul nuts, which are your permanent currency. Alright, I think I might have made it to near the end of the stage. Stages in this game don't tend to be too long, like 5 minutes at the most, and that's if you're taking your time. You can get through them much quicker if you just speed through. Of course, it has been a while since I played this game, probably like half a year if not longer, so my method of judging things could be inaccurate, as it seems to be the case here. That's why, as I like to say, don't take my word as gospel, don't quote me, I'm often wrong. I'm gonna avoid using my power anymore, I only have 3 energy pips left. And I'd like to have at least some uses of it for the boss. Hey, speaking of which, here we are. What's in the box? Ooh, refills, perfect. And I'll conserve my nuts for now. I don't feel like discarding them just yet. Eternal Star, Herald of Hope. Alright. Yep, it is a bullet heli boss, and oh, it's coming in so handy since I don't have much room to move around, that bullet shield. Not if I just dash directly into the boss, though. As is that power, just clearing the screen. Does it work on the bigger projectiles? I'm not sure if either of my things works on that. Oh, it does. That is fantastic. Alright, so my sub-weapon is not super effective, unfortunately. But it has a lot of utility in this fight, that's for damn sure. Alright, I'm just gonna spam this to do a bunch of damage on the boss and clear out the area. And then hopefully manage to get away so I can avoid losing too much health. And I made it. With plenty of time to spare, surprisingly. One thing I've noticed that the bosses haven't done so far that they did in the early access version, ooh, powers deal more damage, I'll take that, is going berserk when they're at low HP. That was something they did before, but they haven't done so thus far. Maybe now that only happens later into a run? Or maybe that's limited to that higher difficulty level, because that wasn't a thing when I played either. I'll find out soon enough. Alright, Shade Spur. A jagged crystal inherits your momentum to smash foes. Or I can pick up some more nuts. I don't think I really need to nut up at the moment. Let's go with the power. So that is bound to the left trigger. Alright, if I just stand still, it does nothing. I remember playing around with this power. But if I'm moving, it moves in that direction, much like when the boss was using it. So it is a very tactical power of sorts. To use it properly, you have to really think about things. But you can theoretically use it while fleeing, I think. Kind of like if you just do this sort of thing? Yeah. So for beating the stage within the time limit, we get a bit of an extra reward. In this case, ooh, more power damage boost. Fantastic. And some soul chips. Alright, so what challenge do we take on next? Death Lotus? Kerr? Or Shadowbeak? Would any of these seem like they'd be weak to any of my current powers? I honestly have no idea. Since the thing I got was from a bird-like thing, let's go after the plant. Plus it has a similar name to me, and thus I feel a sense of kinship toward it. And naturally, I must devour any kin I have. What, you don't do that? Friggin' weirdo. Alright, so here's a place where I can make use of that power. At least if I'm not an idiot and get hit by its tentacles, or vines rather. Alright, I'm wasting time by doing this, but I do want to test that out, just to show off how useful this specific power can be. So if I jump up and then drop down, and press left B with the right timing, boom! A powerful shot directly below. Oop. But if I mistime it, it just kind of fails. And the reason why I'm cheesing it is because that's an elite version, so I'd rather take it out without taking much more damage. I could have handled that more efficiently though, I realize. In fact, I probably would have been just best off spamming my regular Buster Shot, but oh well. C'est la vie. The health converters that you find in the regular levels are a bit less nut efficient than the ones right before the bosses, but I'd like to have that extra pip of health. I might not need it, but I might also need it. And better safe than sorry. After all, money doesn't do much if I'm dead. And of course, as any Mega Man inspired game ought to have, it has Yoku blocks. Everyone's favorite platforming feature. Oh, and it's the first Scrap Recycler. This is your mid-stage shop where you can pick up upgrades. Attack kills might restore health. I think that means kills with your regular buster. Yeah, that sounds really good. Unfortunately, because I kind of wasted some of my currency, I can't purchase it. Let's see if I can pick up 5 more nuts in the meantime. If I get lucky... Wow, speaking of getting lucky. I guess I'm just a lucker today, wow. Alright, thank you game for giving me that. I did make a mistake though. I thought that was a head upgrade. I should have paid more attention to the description. Instead, it's a torso upgrade. I'm fine with exchanging my current one for that though. If nothing else, it gives a little bit more variety. Alright, this is the third glowy zone that I've come across, and it too is a speed one. I wonder why I haven't come across any other challenges so far. Is that just poor luck on my part, or what? I don't know. But immediately that health regeneration is coming in very handy. I've already recovered 1 pip. Ooh, 2-second hover. It's basically Princess Peach's power-up from Mario 2. I like that. That should come in handy during the more difficult platforming segments. Would have come in handy there had I thought to use it. Actually, I could probably just cheese my way over that bit of platforming with it. Let me think. Maybe. Come on. Yeah! But I ended up taking damage anyway because I'm completely incompetent. Ah well. That saved me some time, which is good. I might have also missed some items, which is not good, but I would like to get those bonus items at the end for beating it quick enough. Oh well, you know what? Speaking of taking advantage of it, I wonder if I can just make my way all the way over to the boss, or if I'll just drop into a pit. I'm kinda trusting myself to blind luck here, but I've had pretty good luck so far, so I'm kind of okay with doing that. Oh crap, I wasn't close enough to hit it. It seems the bullet destroying effect actually goes a bit farther than the damaging one, which is something I have to get used to. Oh, that's worth risking some damage for, potentially. Come on, I guess I can make use of the hover. Perfect. Oh, I still took damage. So this, you use at slot machines. I'm gonna be honest, I don't exactly remember what slot machines are about, so we'll find out what that's like together. I was trying to aim it just right. No such luck. And I'm gonna run out of time at this rate, so let's just rush forward. I'm at the boss anyway. If I take it down quick enough, I should be able to make it. This is what you use the tokens for. You can get random bonuses. Might as well spend those nuts in the shop. Another torso upgrade. That was the one I gave up. Not worth it. Let's pick up the extra bit of health. And restore my health a little. Alright, a little bit over a minute to take down this one. I should be able to do it, I hope. I'll try and actually use that power. Oh, but I ran out of energy. I'm a huge dummy. Well, unless I happen to pick up random energy upgrades, then it's basic Buster for me. I'm not sure if it's better to use the charge shot here or not. I don't think I'm going to be attacking it too... No, spamming it's definitely better, yeah. I think I might have wasted too much time in the opening stages of this fight. I don't think I'm going to make the time bonus at this rate. Not unless I get lucky or just, like, spam my way, taking damage to save time sort of thing. Even then, well, we'll see how it goes. Probably should try and get closer. That way I can get off as much damage as possible. I might be able to do it just barely if I'm lucky. Of course, it depends on where it shows up. Part of the issue there is that you can't actually jump through those yellow platforms, which kinda cost me some time. Yeah, I'm not gonna make the time bonus, which makes the damage I took trying to take him down quickly kind of completely a waste, so that's not great. As long as I don't die though, it's fine, I can recover. But I might still end up dying. Okay, let's try and take down that flower so I don't have to deal with it. Alright, I beat the boss. I'm in rather dire straits, but I'm alive, so I have the chance to recover. More power damage will be useful if I can actually get back the energy to use some powers. Arcing Blast. If one of these was health, I would totally go for it. I guess, technically, the nuts can be health if you come across a health restorer. Let's go with the power. I have a feeling this run isn't going to be too successful, so I would like to test out some more stuff. Get the most out of this run. So we have Astral Twins, Rolster, and Shadowbeak. This sounds like an ice level, which I don't quite feel like doing at the moment. I remember Rolster being somewhat tricky to deal with, so let's go with the Astral Twins. I just had a thought, can you actually change which slots your powers are in? Okay, good, you can. It'd be rather silly if you couldn't, but I wouldn't be too surprised. I've come across some games that are like that. Oh, interesting. Yep, nothing, for now. Does that mean I can get access to more powers with more button presses? I'm curious what that's about. For now, though, I just have the basic 3. Alright, looks like there were bees in this stage. Very strong bees. Oh, that's why. They basically serve to just trundle forward until they encounter you and then they kamikaze themselves. Yeah, they are surprisingly tanky for how small they are. Oh, and of course the enemies aren't hurt by the pits. Figures that. Alright, well, now I have one more hit. Gotta avoid screwing this up. Oh, and I just realized why that keeps popping up. I guess after I kill enough enemies, I end up getting information on them. A bestiary of sorts. Presumably, that will tell me what weapons they're weak to, especially if I happen to get the boss entries. So that could actually come in very handy. That way I don't have to just randomly figure out what the bosses are weak to. As long as I've beaten them once, I'll be able to figure that out. And thus have an easier run next time. So that's good. In general, this game just has very nicely polished design. And a lot of time-saving measures, features of convenience. Probably a result of its early accessness. You know, being able to receive far more feedback than developers usually can. And thus make lots of good design decisions like that. Than if they had just developed it on their own. I might have screwed myself. Except I completely forgot I had the ability to hover, so even if that platform didn't come back, I was fine. Yeah, I kind of just skipped my mind that I had picked up that upgrade, so my bad. Do I take on the speed challenge? Yeah, that's the only thing I'm coming across. No other challenge types. I might as well. I was gonna say it shouldn't be too tough, but I've already taken a fair amount of damage, so that's clearly not the case. I should be able to do it successfully, though, at least. Yeah, as long as you have a decent power for clearing out a bunch of enemies, the speed one isn't too tough. Ooh. Yeah, I think having a 4-way dash is a bit better than a hover ability. Gives me more maneuverability in the air overall. And would probably be even better for skipping past a lot of puzzle segments. Nope, that was the wrong ability. I keep messing up which ability I have in which slot. That's what I was trying to do. I wasted a bit of energy, but it should be fine. Should be. Oh no, where's my wall jumping ability gone? Oh wait, it was never there in the first place. Easy mystery. Yeah, so far the hardest thing for me is actually keeping in mind which powers I have on which button. Just because usually in this type of game, you know, the Mega Man games actually, you only have one ability active at the moment. And it's throwing me for a bit of a loop trying to get used to having 4 different abilities at the same time. Basic, Buster, and then the 3 powers. That's something that'll only come with experience though. Oop, is that an elite? It must be. It must be why it's glowing. Yep, even got soul currency. Maybe make use of the mortar? Oh. There we go. Wow, that actually does a lot of damage. I think that does, thank god for the air dash, double what the big laser blade thing does. So it might be worth saving my energy for that, more so than the laser. Let's see. 1 second fly. So, omnidirectional version of that hover. That's not worth going for. I'll take, you know what, more energy, and that's it. And I'll spend a bit of money on some health, just to make sure I can make it through this boss fight. So, since there's 2 of them, either the rocket because it's an AoE, or the shield because it's also an AoE. Alright, unfortunately they don't seem to be weak to it. Interesting that they actually have proper separate health bars, that's pretty neat. Alright, they don't seem to be weak to that either. What about the, oh, that's not how you do it. How do I, what's the button for the bird ability? That is... LB? Yeah, okay. It's tough to aim though, that's the issue. Yeah, you know what, screw doing that. It's just messing me up. I'm just gonna focus on regular shots. Maybe the occasional mortar. Okay, wow, I'm not doing very good. The Gemini twins are pretty tough, I guess, as you'd expect of a multi-boss fight. Oh, I didn't notice I could walk on the ceiling. That would have helped a bunch. Had I realized that earlier. I'm not making the time score, so I just have to survive at this point. Probably should have saved my energy uses for more of the projectile clearing ability. Would have been a better way to handle this. Oh well. At least they're in an easy enough position for me to kill now. Alright, 1 left. Hey, now it has a single unified health bar. That's a nice detail. Oh wow, perhaps I should have been going for charge shots. That does 8 times the damage. Oh well. You live and you learn. I got more speed, so maybe I can get the time bonus next time. Ooh, basically the leaf barrier, kind of. That... So since it blocks shots, that actually might be more useful than the, whatchamacallit? The, Force Nova. Since I can set it and forget it. And that's why there are these other power slots here, so you can end up picking up to 8 powers. But you can only use 3 at a time. That's actually pretty cool. Alright, who do I take down next? Perforator, Shatterbeak, or Kerr? You know what? Let's go kill a furry. Oh, I just picked up the Payday achievement. What's that for? Oh, complete level 4. I'm guessing I'm at the halfway point then. Alright, maybe I can make this a winning run after all. Depends on how well I do here. Oh, I don't have any energy left to use the mortar. That would have come in handy for taking down this shielded boy. I just have to wait for his shield to disappear, I think. Charge shots help with that. And I also need to remember that I have that 4-directional air dash. Much like my hover ability, I keep forgetting that I picked it up, and it is super useful. Alright. A lot of rigorous platforming intermixed with the enemies in this stage so far. That's why I've been a bit more silent. I'm trying to focus on not dying. So much like a lot of other roguelikes, the difficulty just passively goes up as you progress through stages, regardless of which ones you end up doing first. Although the specific types of platforming challenges I think are restricted to stage type. So if you end up having trouble with a specific one, you can save that stage for later or try and clear it out as early as possible, depending on your preference. And that's nice because that adds a little bit of I was about to say strategization, but that's not a word. What is the specific tense of that word I'm looking for? Strategy, I guess. I don't know. Oh, strategize, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, my brain just turns off when I'm playing video games. But yeah, it allows you to strategize a little bit, relying not just on reactions, but the knowledge you've gained from previous runs, which is probably my favorite overall consistent feature with this genre of game. I always find that to be the most interesting part. Alright, do I do a speed challenge? Sure, why not? Let's actually try out the projectile barrier. Alright, so it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, and it will vanish as soon as it strikes an enemy or a projectile. But I can set it and forget it, which is the main reason why I picked it up. I could actually probably spam it against more projectile-heavy bosses and have a much easier time. Ooh, core arm upgrade. Your charge attacks vaporize enemy shots. Wow, I'm just having a projectile-destroying build, aren't I? I'm fine with that. As much as I love bullet hells and shmups, I'm not especially good at them. Oh, wow, I screwed up majorly there. I was doing so well until I suddenly wasn't. Yeah, I think the major issue I'm having is the fact that I can't actually jump through these platforms, even though I expect to be able to, just because of the type of game this is. And that screws up my platforming a fair bit. I probably could have just skipped it entirely since I have both my regular dash and an air dash, but again, I keep forgetting about that. Oh, I wish these were moving faster. Come on, you wasted my time, game. I should be somewhat near the end of the stage at this point, I think. Although, we saw just how well my prediction of that went before, so that actually means I'm nowhere near the end of the stage. Alright, little shop. What's up for grabs? Ooh, attacks might restore, kills might restore energy, that's pretty good. I think I'd rather go with more damage though. Let's go for both damage boosts. And then pick up some health. There's no guarantee that there will be a health vendor before the boss. So even though it's more expensive to use the in-stage ones, I'm okay with wasting money, if it boosts my chances of survival. Okay, there was a lot of shit going on screen at the moment. Yeah, I had to deal with 2 elite enemies at once. That was not a pleasant situation to deal with. But presumably this area is so well fortified because I'm near the end. Come on, yeah. So I got a minute and 30 to take down the boss. That's not great, but it's not awful either. Oh, and it seems that regardless of how many entrances there are, there's only one set of shop inventory per stage. Good to know. Alright, let's see. Are you weak to my options? Probably not, given your look. Okay, well, your projectiles just destroy my shield before I can even hit you, so I can't test that out. Why do you have the quad laser? That seems like an odd reference to be making. Alright, I'm not doing too much damage so far. What about the mortar? That's not too amazing. Alright, none of my weapons are super effective. Perhaps the barrier is, but I don't exactly feel like switching to it at the moment. Oh, he is actually seeming to go berserk now, so I guess earlier stage bosses don't do it, but the latter ones will. Oh, and that 4-direction dash coming in super handy here. But I'm still getting hit because I'm not very good. Okay, come on, just kill the damn thing. Well, so much for this being a winning run. Yeah, I still have a long way to go with this game in terms of skill. In fairness, I only ever played it for a few hours before, so I'm relying more so on my Mega Man X experience, which is also fairly lacking, so I'm not surprised I did this bad. If you think you can do better at this seed, well, it's right there in the bottom right, so pick up the game yourself and beat me. Beat me, daddy. But before we end things off for good, okay, so I guess both doctors are evil then. Well, as I was saying, before we end things off, let's check out the permanent upgrades. So we have these ones which are only available in the easier 2 difficulties that are just passive buffs that you get for every run. Then you have item unlocks, which will add extra items for your runs. And then you have next run items, which apply to your next run only, but even work in Defiant difficulty. And you can also convert soul chips into tokens. Can you use tokens here, or I think they might just be for carrying into a run? Let me just check out the rest of the hub to make sure that's the case, yeah. So, oh, that's pretty cool. So even if you end up picking up permanent upgrades, you can choose to turn them off and still play on normal. That's a nice bit of difficulty modification they let you do. This is the first roguelike I've seen that actually lets you do that sort of thing. Since I don't plan on actually using these permanent buffs, because I do plan on playing solely on Defiant at some point, I always end up sticking with the highest difficulty in these sorts of games after I get experienced. And I don't want to get too used to being too powerful. So I'd rather go with more item unlocks. So, health drop boost, basic attack damage boost, I'm guessing that's stronger than the one that already existed. And cores from different sets boost stats, that's pretty cool. Nice. And I have 2 soul nuts left, so I might as well convert them into a token. And now that I have it, just again making sure that I can't use it somewhere here. It feels like I really should be able to, but yeah, I guess it's just carrying over into the next run. But yeah, that's been a quick look at 20XX. If you like either Mega Man or Roguelite style games, and you can stomach the other one at least, I strongly recommend picking this up. It's very well polished, it looks great, even if it does have a bit of an iPhone-y mobile game sort of look to its art style. It has a lot of content and it's just a lot of fun. Oh, and though I didn't show it off, it also has a co-op mode for both local and online, so you can have fun with the bud. Definitely worth picking up if any of this intrigues you.